righty. Well, I'm sure we'll have some more people joining, but we have a packed 30 minutes for everyone. So I am going to go ahead and get started so that we can fit everything in. And as people join, they can join along for the ride. So hello and welcome to our March Town Hall with OneVillage Partners celebrating women's empowerment. A couple really quick notes before we get started. Please, if you are an audience member, keep your, if you can, keep your mic muted until the Q&A at the end. We would appreciate it. And we're also recording the session today so that we can share it out with folks afterwards. Please also bear with us if we have any technical or network issues throughout the next 30 minutes. We're working across time zones and some of us in areas where the network can fluctuate. So we appreciate your patience in advance. And then lastly, on the last quick note before we dive in, all the photos that you see today in the presentation were taken at last Tuesday's International Women's Day event hosted by OneVillage Partners in Bunambu in Eastern Sierra Leone, where our office is. So just fun fact for you all. We are so happy to have you all today. My name is Kate Laursen. I am the Senior Communications Manager for OneVillage Partners. I am joined by by four women who I admire so much, my esteemed colleagues. I'm going to let them introduce themselves in just a minute. Meanwhile, we invite you to introduce yourselves as well. Please feel free to put in the chat box your name, where you are in the world, and a woman who inspires you. And we are going to be talking to you all today a little bit about, we're going to give you some context about gender equity and women's empowerment in Sierra Leone. OneVillage Partners approach to these themes, and then we're going to kick it off to our panel of experts, my colleagues, to dive in a little deeper into some of these issues. And then we're going to open it up to the Q&A from the audience at the very end. So again, thank you all for coming. Thank you for being here. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce my colleagues, Cheryl, Bernadette, Sattu, and Mariama. Cheryl, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cheryl Acheampong. I'm the Women's Empowerment Program Manager, OneVillage Partners, Sierra Leone. My female role model is the late Ella Golama, because she broke the philosophy of the African philosophy that women should be at the backyard cooking and cleaning the house by becoming the first female representative in the House of Sierra Leone. So that's why I admire most for her activeness and the challenge that he brought out for other women. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bernadette Mustapha. I am the Nurturing Opportunity for Women Program Supervisor. My female role model is Sylvia Oekai-Blinding. She's a politician, a journalist, an advocacy for women, and former minister under the Ministry of Social Welfare, Genders, and Children's Affairs in Sierra Leone. I love her so much because she's transparent and she stands for what she is as a woman. Thank you.
Sattu, are you there?
Yeah, my name is Sattu Massaquoi, Arts Program Officer. My feminist role model is Helen Johnson Sirleaf. Being the first female head of state in Africa, she contested and won in an election. This woman, I love her so much. as she implemented so much of $1 million investment in Liberia and also established the Truth and Reconciliation Committee to probe and heal ethnic tension in Liberia.
I am Mariama Braima. I'm Community Field Officer for OneVillage Partners in Sierra Leone, Bonubu to be specific. My female role model happens to be the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone, who happens to be Madam Fatima Bio, who has gone through the extent of implementing a project called Hands Off Our Girls. She wants to ensure that sexual penetration or assault is totally eradicated in Sierra Leone. And I love her so much because she is a hardworking First Lady.
Excellent. Thank you all so much. So we're going to hear some more from these amazing women in just a couple minutes. First, want to give you all a little more information about women in Sierra Leone. Women in Sierra Leone experience a high amount, an adverse amount of gender-based violence. This is reflected in the fact that 83% of girls age 15 and over have undergone some form of female genital cutting or female genital mutilation. In addition, in Sierra Leone, only 35% of adult women are literate, compared to 52% of their male counterparts. This, of course, puts women at a big disadvantage when it comes to education and formal employment. And there's also a very strict kind of mindset amongst both men and women, but especially men when it comes to what women can and can't do. In the communities that we work with in Eastern Sierra Leone, we survey the community before beginning programming. And in those communities last year, we found that, again, before programming, we found that 60% of men believe that only men should have a final say in major decision-making. This means that a majority of men believe that women in Sierra Leone don't have the right to make decisions when it comes to their home, their finances, and what goes on in their community. So at OneVillage Partners, we believe that gender equity means that communities support women to have control over their income, use their voice, and have decision-making power in the home and community. And we achieve this through 3 programs. In our community action and lead programs, we work with communities for them to develop their own projects that will meet the unique needs of the community. And we train groups of volunteers in those communities to lead these projects. And the groups of volunteers have to be gender equal. And furthermore, the women who participate are encouraged to really lead and use their voice to contribute to community development. And what we found was that in communities where our programs took place, the number of women who were speaking up at community meetings drastically increased to the point where a majority of people speaking at community meetings were women. Additionally, in the same communities, we do a program specifically for women, for adult women, the Nurturing Opportunities for Women program, where women learn financial literacy, business, public speaking skills. And this is all done with a picture-based curriculum. So it doesn't matter, of literacy levels, anyone can participate. In the same program, men are brought in at key points to to understand more about gender norms and the harm of really strict gender norms and how they can promote gender equity and support the women in their lives. And if you recall back to the first slide, where we found before programming, 60% of men believed that only men should have the final say in decision making. After our programs, this number decreased down to 24%. So we're really seeing a shift in mindset and impact when it comes to these types of beliefs through our programming. So I am going to stop talking and turn it over to our experts here and ask them some questions. And we're going to start with Mariama. Mariama, how is gender equity and women's empowerment work integrated into the community action program? Oh, Mariama, you're on mute. You just got to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I want to thank everyone for giving me a great opportunity like this. Back to my question. Gender equity and women's empowerment has a greater impact in the ACT program. Come to think of staff employment, women are being considered a lot, despite their inability to ride motorbikes. But regards their potential to exploit, and they are also given preferential treatment as compared to men. Also, before undertaking work in any community, we ask them to form a group of CAGs, and those CAGs are being called community action groups. These groups serve as a frontline soldiers or an intermediary between OneVillage Partners and the community. And the selection criteria, in the selection criteria, there is a fairness, 6 females and 6 males. Even in our subsequent meetings in the communities, women's voices and participation is highly recognized. It was in one of the meetings that these women in Manjo were able to identify their felt need, which was an hygienic kitchen, as they were having an open kitchen with no rubbish pits. The women stated the harmful causes behind these challenges, and it was supported by their men. And today, if anyone is being fortunate to come to Manjo community, you will envisage a very clean environment and minimization of transferable disease. Also, the program has created a platform for community women to be bold and outspoken. You might want to know how. When they see the staff of OneVillage Partners, women participating in meeting sessions and involving in development work, they become motivated and inspired a lot to do the same as women, as OneVillage Partners women. So there is a slogan which says, you know, the men, it has also opened the mindset of the men to realize that the women are not slaves, but they are partners in development. So whatever they are doing, they should consider their women. I thank you very much for giving me a listening ears.
Thank you, Mariama. Just to piggyback off of what Mariama was starting to say about bringing men into this work, Bernie, can you talk a little bit more about our efforts to include men in this work and why it's important?
Thank you, Kate. For the NOW program normally encourages every participant to share the learning with their husbands or male relatives after every sections in the week ahead. Also, the program normally asks participants to invite their husbands into a family section after every 2 months of the learning, wherein they will learn certain important topics in the curriculum, which we call the family sections, such as like one, putting goals into a timeline, wherein we do the gender bender activities because we are dealing with a picture-based curriculum. So we'll invite the husband and the wife to come together to do the gender bender activities, which talks about the various activities that's being done in the home by men and women, like cleaning the house, cooking. So all of them will have the idea that they need to compensate each other in order to have a development in the home. The entire family will also see why their goals are important, and also they will come to a conclusion or an agreement upon a goal that has been set. We also have the one we call the talking to the family part 2, which we deal with communication and savings. because in any development zone, except there might be a breach of communication, there must be an important communication, a channel of well-structured communication in the home. So we talk about communication and savings. We do the blindfolded course activities for the entire family to see why communicating to each other is very important. And also in that section, they will learn how to communicate and practice good communication. So at the end, they will be able to use their voice. They will be able to do inclusive decision making in the home and public speaking. And also they will have the chance for them to share what they have learned about savings, which is one of our key in the curriculum training. Also, with all that, the program also, normally we take the resilience also to involve the husband in most of our important activities that we had, such as like the now graduation ceremony, the International Women's Day celebration like we did this year. We asked them to come together with their family members. And also like the now 3 agricultural cultivation, we include both the husband and the wife coming together to work together and take vision as one. We want the husbands and the wives to feel belong. Everybody has an area where, oh, my voice can be heard. I have right to make decisions. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thanks, Bernie. I think you touched on quite a bit of just the communication aspect and just really the importance of including men there, and that it's not just about it takes everyone. And because of that, Sattu, how have you seen the mindsets of or the ideas about gender equity transform in the communities that we work with?
Well, actually, as we all know that gender equity is a movement of women alongside with men in development. In previous years, these women and girls have been deprived in many ways by not allowing them to use their voice, participate in education, and many more things. Presently, these have changed in many different ways in our partner communities through our programs, wherein women are gaining position of trust. They are learning and acquiring business skills. They are engaging in household planning with their husbands. They participate in community decision making. The men helping the women, their wives in doing domestic chores and various kinds of household jobs. For ages, women were not even allowed to take vital decisions for themselves. Let's say, for instance, the use of contraceptives. Many women and girls were not taking it without prior approval from their husbands. Most men and women now know the significance of contraceptives, that it is not just there to prevent them from having unwanted pregnancies, but also help prevent them from STI, sexually transmitted diseases, and other illnesses caused by poor reproductive health. To crown it all, I can say that little by little, through our programs, we are trying to reach the World Sustainable Goal for Development. Thank you for your audience.
Thank you, Sattu. And so that's just what we've been able to do in our partner communities. So looking beyond OneVillage Partners operational communities, Cheryl, what do you believe are some steps that we can take at OneVillage Partners, as well as the government and other NGOs, to advance gender equity in Sierra Leone more broadly?
Thank you, Kate, for your question. Gender discrimination against Sierra Leonean women is specifically one of the most widespread of human rights abuse and violence against them that continue to deny them of their rights, leading to extreme poverty, and then violence against these women, which sometimes leads to death for those women. So I believe affirmative action is the appropriate action that can be used to achieve gender equity in Sierra Leone. Why affirmative action? Affirmative action will help in bridging the gaps in employment, in leadership position for women, and decision making, and also in education being sensitive in the community. How can this be done? We could have like a discussion series group at household level, which is one of OVP's main flagship program activities, wherein the husbands and wife have been invited, tell them their responsibility, let them know that this is not a women thing, help them break gender bias at home. And also women having leadership position in government. Women of Sierra Leone have been crying for 30% quota. 18 is not enough for women. I believe if the government could give the 18% quota to women, we are leading on to gender equality, because gender equity is what leads to gender equality. And also, if we could make education gender sensitive, it's good, because we still have discrimination when it comes to school. The most teachers will say science is a main thing, mathematics is a main thing. If we have education being gender sensitive, it's another stepping stone for us in achieving gender equity in Sierra Leone. And also, 69% of these rural women, they are involved in farm labor for food production. If we could give them, or the government of Sierra Leone and NGOs and other institutions could come up to promote the access of women to have farmland, it will be very important. And also, I believe if we could incorporate anti-bias training into our activity in our offices, it's very good for us, because sometimes organizations do discrimination unconsciously. They will be asking women during the higher diversity, they will ask her, are you ready to have a child? Are you ready to get pregnant? So if we do anti-bias training, it will help us. It will be a stepping stone for us to achieve gender equity. And like I like to say also, we could also do salary employment. We could review our HR policies when it comes to hiring. I believe this will help us to get gender equality. As we all know, to crown it all, gender equity is what leads to gender equality. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Well, I don't know about you all, but I could listen to these women all day. But we have just about 6 more minutes. So I am going to turn it on over to you all. If anyone else, or if anyone has any questions for anyone here, please feel free to either just to unmute yourself and go ahead and ask, or go ahead and raise your hand.
Hi, my name is Renee Pardello. I'm very familiar with OneVillage Partners, but can you share to any of the panelists your direct experience about how OneVillage Partners is different than other organizations in Sierra Leone?
Yeah, Cheryl or Bernie, do one of you want to take that question? Why OneVillage Partners, what makes it different than other organizations working in Sierra Leone?
What makes OVP different? The approach that we take when we come to implementing our project. One, like I said, to achieve gender equity, we bring in the husband and the wife together. We tell them their duties and responsibility. We open up, we raise up awareness to them, let them know that this is not a women thing and this is not a men thing. For you to gain sustainability in the home, for you to gain progress in the home, they all need to work together. So that's one unique program of the OVP. The other unique program of what makes OVP unique, we bring communities to get them to understand what the problem in their community is, and then they find a solution. We come in to help them with the knowledge and resources, but we'll allow them to identify what the problem is. We don't sit in the office and write for them. We go into the community, allow them to speak up for themselves. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Cheryl. And thank you, Renee. Great question.
So I am
Thanks, Leah.
super excited to see Cheryl, Bernadette, Mariama, and Sattu. I've met Bernadette when I went to Sierra Leone back in, man, it's been a long time, 2017. And so I just want to share that I have been at one of the now activities, and like they're saying, the women are the ones participating and fully engaged in the process. I do, however, want to acknowledge and appreciate the fact that as a Sierra Leonean born woman, having the opportunity to be in America, I can see the vast difference, but I also see the slow progress that's been made for women equality and equity that Cheryl talked about. See, Cheryl, I said Cheryl, I didn't say Cheryl. Yep. So, but I do want to say that I experienced it firsthand. I remember I had shared at one of the breakfast meetings about Miss Anne, and that's an example that I always share when I have an opportunity about women having the opportunity to be leaders and also taking, not really speaking up, using their voice, right? Miss Anne was one of those in Majo that was really advocating for women's equity rights, along with ensuring that the men understand that by us saying, give us a chance and give us the opportunity to be who we truly are, we're not saying we're taking away from your manhood. We're not saying that we're gonna wear the pants in the household, but we want to partner with you. So I am super excited and I appreciate you all. The accent just gets me and I'm just super excited when they talk. That's all. I'm just mesmerized by it because I'm losing all my own accent here. So good to see you. Thank you, ladies, and thanks everyone for joining. Sorry.
Thank you so much, Amelia.
Thank
I
you,
think,
Amelia.
you know, you hit the nail at the head at the end. It's all about partnership, right? And that's what we're all about. And that's really what we think moves this work forward. We have one question in the last question in the chat that we'll call out from Ashraf. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. How is this work similar or different in communities based in villages versus cities? OneVillage Partners doesn't currently work in urban centers. However, maybe one of you can, Sattu, Mariama, Bernie, Cheryl, if you want to maybe talk about what, if we were to do this program in cities, or what would that look like? What would that difference look like? Or what do women's gender equity and women's empowerment might look differently in Sierra Leone in an urban center versus a rural setting?
Yes.
Yeah, Bernie, please jump in.
So we are not just like, the training is for like, we are dealing with rural women, but I do believe, because we are also empowering women in the city, because in also cities, we have women who do not have the chance to go to school. And the NOW program, our method is a unique one. Even if someone is being in the college, without you having someone to explain to you the NOW curriculum, the pictures, even if you go through, you don't understand anything from that. And also, like we have the market women, and also we have women that are in the big city that are interested in our program, because I remember the last time when we are in the radio station, people we are calling us from Kenema, Bo, hey, we love this your program, we want you guys to come, and we just said it's a matter of time. So we are now focusing, but we also have big dreams to go to the big towns, because there are also people that want to learn and they are eager for them to have this gender equity and gain from the knowledge. So the training is not only for like community or villagers, but also it's a nationwide. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Bernie. Well, we are right at time here. So I am going to wrap us up. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. And of course, thank you to our wonderful panel and my inspiring colleagues for joining us. please, if you're not already, if you'd like to hear more about the work that we're doing as it relates to what we talked about today, please give us a follow and engage with us on your social network of choice. We're very active on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We also have a YouTube. And if you have any other lingering questions that you didn't get to ask today or didn't get answered, you can always shoot us an email at info@onevillagepartners.org. And if you feel so inspired, this work can only be done because of individual supporters like yourselves, like others. So please consider giving a donation at onevillagepartners.org to continue the impactful work that our colleagues in Sierra Leone are working so hard to do. So thank you everyone. If you'd like to, take your mute off and say goodbye, you're welcome. And hopefully we will see you all the next time.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks,
you all so
everyone.
much.
Thanks.
Bye.
Hey, Ellie.
Hi, Renee.
Thank you,
Nice to
everybody.
see you.
Thank
Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy.
Bye. Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome job.
Bye.
Wonderful.
Bye.
Thanks, Sarah.
Bye.
All righty.
Bye.
Thanks, Sattu.
Thank you.
Have a good
Bye-bye.